Welcome to All Home Care Matters, the show where we discuss all things home care, with discussions on important age-related matters and topics. Brought to you by Enriched Life Home Care Services, the #1 rated home care provider in Michigan by Top Rated Local.
Hello, and welcome back to All Home Care Matters. If this is your first time visiting us here at the show, we want to say thank you for taking time out to be with us today. We appreciate how valuable everyone's time is, and that's why we try and make each episode here at All Home Care Matters something that will hopefully matter to you. Today, I am honored to welcome a remarkable guest, Angela Fairhurst. Angela is the founder and CEO of Geri-Gadgets. Geri-Gadgets was created by Angela to help support family caregivers and their loved ones living with dementia after her own personal experience with her mother. Welcome, Angela.
Thanks for having me today, Lance.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure. So I said Geri-Gadgets. That's a really cool name. I can see how that could imply a lot of different things. Why don't you, for our viewers and listeners, explain exactly what Geri-Gadgets is?
Well, Geri-Gadgets stand for geriatric, not my mom's name. My mom's name was Vera, and gadgets. And I say that because I was inspired to create Geri-Gadgets after my mom was suffering from Lewy body dementia. While she was suffering from Lewy body dementia, and if you'd like me to go into the story, I will now.
Yeah.
The creation of Geri-Gadgets began when my mom was misdiagnosed with Alzheimer's. And she was given anti-hallucination medicines that made her extremely crazy and very, very sick, and almost died multiple times, 7 times, as a matter of fact. And we finally got her into another care home and rescued her, and then was properly diagnosed with Lewy body. When she was in the proper care home with Lewy body, I saw her tearing on magazines, the paper, the shiny paper, and I saw this need for sensory stimulation. So I started bringing objects, different toys from the kids department to see what I could get her to cling on to. Mm-hmm. And what I found was most of them were difficult for her to play with. But what happened? So then I started bringing other things. I brought a pot holder from home. I cut it into a circle. And then I discovered, oh my God, I could play with her. I could throw it back and forth, but I could also, she could bite it. She could teeth it. She could play with this. And so that was silicone was the answer. And I also brought a bucket, the kid's toy, the hard plastic toy with the pieces on top. Well, she had a clenched fist, but she couldn't possibly get any of those shapes into the holes because that was way too complicated. And the bucket was hard. And it could cut her hands, that her skin was very sensitive. But I thought there was something in the bucket idea. And between the pot holder and the bucket, I thought, okay, here we've got something with silicone because it's very soft and it's very tender and it's completely machine washable. So that was the beginning of the fidget bucket and being able to bring toys that could help her. And with the clenched fist, I found like the egg, for example, and this is the fidget bucket. Mm-hmm. This is the right size, but this was made specifically. They're out there. Fidget items are out there, but this is something that, you can't put your teeth into. You can't bite off little pieces of foam and have it be poisoned. This is tested for things like that. So this was also the right strength. There's some harder ones and there's some softer ones and there's ones with goo. Well, this is solid. Yeah. And so this began, the beginning of it. And when I saw my mom, she lost her ability to speak and communicate in appropriate ways. She babbled, but I could play with her. I couldn't talk to her anymore, but I could play with her. And that was huge because it brought some quality of life. It brought some joy. She could laugh. And so then I knew this was something that I had to keep on going. I had to do it. So that was the inspiration. And then it just grew from there in terms of what I knew I had to bring to the market.
I want to want to jump in. So when you were researching this after your mom's misdiagnosis and ultimately her diagnosis, how did you go about educating yourself about the effects of dementia?
Well, I mean, my brother is a physician. But I mean, I dug in. I read everything I could about different kinds of dementia. One size does not fit all. When you've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia. But you realize that, Alzheimer's is plaques all over the brain. With Lewy body, they seem to, is Parkinson's related. So my mom had the clenched fist and a little bit of a shake. And you seem to know you're losing your mind because it starts at the back of the brain and the message doesn't get to the front of the brain with communication. So it's a harder version because there's a lot of frustration with it.
Yeah.
Also, her fall risk was massive because her blood pressure when she stood up would drop by 30 points. In the beginning, it was super dangerous because she'd get very dizzy. She would fall over even more than the average fall risk. And so keeping her occupied was really, really important. Now, here's somebody who was a school teacher. She painted. She played tennis.
Yeah.
She wasn't somebody you could just sit in front of a TV and keep her busy. So it was dangerous for her to get up and wander around, but that was something she wanted to do. And so having things for her to do was extremely important. And
Right.
so that's why I began to bring her more and more things. So it was trial and tribulation and a lot of reading and studying about different things that might work or not. And then it was just a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. I know when families first hear that diagnosis, whatever form of dementia it is, it's earth-shattering. Most people who don't have a healthcare background, they're not researching, they're not learning about, dementia and, how to be a good family caregiver. And it's an extremely overwhelming, pressure-filled time for so many. What books did you find were most helpful for you? You said you had read some books. Did you have a favorite that you would recommend?
Well, a lot of what I did was online, honestly, because I'm a researcher by nature. I'm a producer. I mean, I work in television. I went to the WHO. I went to the Alzheimer's organization. I went to a lot of medical articles and things like that, just to figure out the science of it. But basically, I did the grief recovery handbook. I put my mom's life to rest as I knew her. And I started to do, create a new person because the one I knew wasn't the one that was there. So I did it. That was the kind of work that I did. That's where I took the book one day at a time stuff. That's where I did my reading for my health so that I could help her. Because originally when she was diagnosed, I'd go and see her. I'd cry every day. Well, that wasn't a way to live. And I know a lot of people just keep on crying.
Yeah.
And expecting that person that you once knew to be there.
Right.
Some days the curtain opens and they're there, and other days it doesn't. But it's a diminishing return because the disease progresses and it doesn't get better.
When you discovered, these fidgety, items and, stimulation items were really something making, a connection with your mom and things, and you decided to, enter into creating Geri-Gadgets, what would you say really sets Geri-Gadgets apart from the other sensory products that are out on the market right now?
Well, they're definitely made for the adult market. They're of sophistication. They're definitely made for safety. They're tested, and that these adults can play with them without cutting themselves. They can play with them without any danger of poisoning themselves on mouthing them. Yet they are respectful. They're not primary toys. They're not complicated puzzles. They're machine washable so that there's no harm, that multiple people can play with them too. So it can be the community, it can be a loved one and a caregiver one-on-one, but it can be a group setting who can participate together. The buckets serve as like creating a house, and like there's no wrong answer with them. So there's no level of frustration on any of the buckets. And they serve as just endless amounts of creativity and endless amounts of play in a safe setting. And the cognitive, they're exercising the hands and arms. They're bringing quality of life. They're giving caregiver relief, which is really one of the biggest things, because I could set my mom down with something and she would play for 3 hours on end. Unbelievable how they worked for her. Some people it would be 15 minutes, some people an hour, some people a couple minutes, and every day is different for every person, and every time of day is different for every person. But one day, the next day it'll be completely different, and the time of day is different. It depends on how much sleep they've had, how much water they've had. But again, they do work. And even when I go to a care home and I play with a group of 10 people, say, there hasn't been anybody that hasn't been reached. So you watch the magic happen, even in the most setting way, because they are colorful, but they're colorful in an adult way. They're attractive so that even somebody that doesn't normally participate seems to get in there and participate. It's amazing. And that's what's making me do it. It swells my heart when I see that.
Yeah. How's the reception been for Geri-Gadgets? Have you had any feedback from, any of the dementia or Alzheimer's foundations or associations, or from families that have used it that you'd like to share?
Well, yeah, I've been into a couple Alzheimer's community organizations. One's in New Jersey, the other one's in New York City. There are buckets sitting in their offices. They're in New York City. The flower bucket, which is here, is sitting in their, they have sitting in their apartment. They have a sample apartment of products, and everything from the smart refrigerator to the lights to different toys or products to sell. So this is sitting in their apartment. But the response has been tremendous. I have a care home community. I live in Los Angeles, but in Redondo Beach, that is using them in their Haven community, and their activity director is just loving them. These people are responding extremely well. I have testimonials from them. I have video from them. They're providing this tremendous video of another friend whose 98-year-old mother doesn't have dementia, actually, but she's bored. She loves playing with Geri-Gadgets because she can no longer read. Her vision is not there. She's enjoying playing with each and every one of them. And she has arthritic hands, so this makes them feel better. So they really are being well received. I do put little videos together, people with how they're being used, because the levels of creativity from these people is tremendous. They get excited. They've put them in structures that I never even thought of. With the shapes bucket that you have, like built a house, and they don't have to be laid flat. They can be standing up. They use the bucket as part of the play. Very creative.
Is there one that has stood out, like a testimonial that really kind of resonated with you more than all the others?
Well, I would say that all the testimonials are really tremendous. Just how safe they are, how engaging they are, what a difference they make from other products out there. These are patented. The buckets, because of the safety, the washability and the durability and the tenderness of them, the engagement level is so much higher than any other products. On the fact that they don't wear out, the level of creativity that can be explored with them. That's the huge difference, is that there are endless possibilities with play with these. And again, remember that the next day it's a new day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the now and the future of Geri-Gadgets, Angela. What are some future developments or plans that are maybe are in the works or that you would like to see happen in the future for Geri-Gadgets?
Well, I'm in talks and with Geri-Gadgets being participating in a clinical trial.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, with two different companies. They are interested, and I even have a care home community that's interested in participation. It's about fitting it into the schedule. It's about facilitating a grant to do that because none of this is all of it costs money to have scientists and institutions involved, but it's a process. I have the scientists that would work with me involved too, but there's excitement over it because non-pharmacological advances need to coexist with medicines as well.
Right.
And so the ideal would really be able to give Geri-Gadgets with the treatment. I mean, these will extend someone's life because quality of life and engagement and play does improve their lives. If they're sitting there, look, we change the oil in our car. Imagine if we don't.
Right.
Look at Geri-Gadgets like oil, like a car wash. We got to keep on maintaining it. Now, the car is still going to wear out over time because it just ages and does.
Yeah.
We are, as humans, going to wear out over time. But when we maintain ourselves and and Geri-Gadgets do that with play and with engagement and with quality of life, we're going to last a whole lot longer. And these
Right.
are going to outlive us, by the way.
Yeah. Well, how when you meet somebody and they've heard of Geri-Gadgets for the first time, what's your 2, 3 sentences you describe Geri-Gadgets as? How would you describe it to somebody that has no idea what it is?
Well, I say they're therapeutic sensory stimulating products for seniors with dementia and other cognitive issues. They're safe, washable, sustainable toys.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all, they're very simple. I know it seems simple, but what they do is tremendous. It's kind of
Absolutely.
listen, whoever created the paperclip was genius, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same as the Post-it note. I mean, the simplest idea can make a profound difference. And that's what Geri-Gadgets are doing.
Right. Absolutely. What advice would you give the caregivers or family members who are looking for solutions to help support their loved ones with dementia?
Well, I always say dare. Don't argue, react, or explain.
Hmm.
You have to meet the person with dementia where they are.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't treat people with cancer by yelling at them and expecting them to remember something that they can't help. We don't, because that's a disease. It's not just because they can remember something one moment or not something another moment, or they can fold the towels but won't get into the tub or bath, doesn't mean that it's not a disease. We have to understand that this is the disease, and that one fear comes from sometimes it's nothing we can understand. So we have to meet that person where they are on
Yeah.
that day, at that moment. And we have to meet them with love. Even if they're yelling at us, we have to treat them with respect and dignity and try and sublimate like we do a toddler that's having a tantrum. So,
Right.
okay, yes, I know sometimes it's very frustrating and that wears us out, but we can take a Geri-Gadget and maybe, give them this to hold. Look at this is very soothing. It's very comforting.
Right. And the colors
And
are nice too.
they are. And, again, they're made for um for holding and touching, and they can go in the shower with them,
Mm.
so because they are completely washable. So if someone is having difficulty getting their loved one to bathe, they
Right.
can seat them in the shower and put them down in a seat and have them play or
Yeah.
touch or feel or hold something that's not going to get destroyed.
If I was to ask you, and I'm going to ask you, What other product lines would you like to see, or do you think would be helpful that you might be thinking about for Geri-Gadgets? What would that be?
Oh, I have a large ideation of future buckets in the works, and a couple of them they're coming. There's a seashore version, there's a tool version, there's
Okay, so it's going to be theme based.
they're all theme based.
Yeah.
Um, the yeah,
No, that's
there's a
wonderful.
long line of them for the future because these aren't going to wear out. People are going to want varieties of different themes. They will all be sensory stimulation, familiarity. There will be other different shapes and things like that too. But, there are sports, there are vehicles and, signs of travel, things that are familiar in the world. So that's what this brings. I mean, clearly the flowers are familiar, which is a very attractive thing for women, but we want to have things, we have things for men too. The shapes are, these were created because I loved Tetris and Lego is very familiar, yet they have a soft side and a side with the stars. And the stars are really relevant in opening the mind to me.
Yeah.
That's why the logo has stars in it. Endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. That's wonderful. So, finally, Angela, I wanted to ask you, for viewers and listeners who may just now be discovering Geri-Gadgets, maybe it's an organization even, how would you want them to get involved or support Geri-Gadgets' mission?
Well, spreading the word is really hard. I'm a new company. I'm a small business that would love to share in the community. I would love, people to post it. I'd love them to share videos of them playing. I'd love them to join Instagram and Facebook and the LinkedIn, to get on the website, to join my blog and respond to these things. We do have an affiliates program starting as well, so that anybody that can spread the word, because everybody, or just about everybody, if you don't know somebody now with dementia or a cognitive issue, because these do work in the adult area of people with autistic issues or spectrum issues, or any sort of rehab kind of issues, you will soon, because that's what life is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then, I need help spreading the word.
Well, we're helping you here at All Home Care Matters. And, finally, Angela, and our viewers and listeners know this by now, but we'll put all the links and everything in the show notes. But I'd like for you to also share, where do you want people to go to find out more, to purchase it? Where's the best place for them to visit?
Well, currently, SNS Worldwide, there's a link for on my website to order from SNS Worldwide. I sent you the link. SNS Worldwide has 5,000 products, so it's SNS Worldwide Geri-Gadgets for Dementia if you're going to Google it. SSWW Geri-Gadgets for Dementia. If you look up gerigadgets.com on my website, with or without a dash, you'll find it. It says to order, but everywhere there's a picture of Geri-Gadgets, it links to SNS Worldwide. The products are also currently available on Amazon. Now, Amazon does not discount, but SNS Worldwide has coupons. I want everybody that can to save money on the products and use the coupons. So buying through SNS may not be the most convenient, but it's certainly the best way to get the best price at the moment.
Wonderful. And is Geri-Gadgets is also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well?
It is at Geri-Gadgets. There's no dash in Instagram.
Wonderful. And yeah, for our viewers and listeners, any of them that have Geri-Gadgets or have some pictures of loved ones using it, share those photos and make sure you tag Geri-Gadgets. And like Angela said, let's help spread the word and, get more resources out to these family caregivers who are caring for loved ones with dementia. And I would say too, and you mentioned this, Angela, maybe you have a loved one, maybe it's not dementia, maybe it's a stroke survivor, maybe it's somebody with really arthritic hands, or, any sort of thing. These are wonderful. We got our box right here of Geri-Gadgets, and, you were good enough to send us 2 boxes. And, I was telling you before the show that we donated a box to a adult daycare, and they love it. It's another tool for the caregiver toolbox, and and it's also entertaining and engaging for our loved ones. And like you said, it helps give a little bit of a reprieve to these family caregivers and care staff to maybe work on some other things so that their loved one is still getting engaged and being stimulated.
Yeah, and at the adult daycare. Oh, so the other thing is that I found that's brilliant is your public library. If your public library would buy a set and people can rent them out to play, that's a great tool. If somebody can't actually buy them, they can rent them out to play. And if they can tell their local librarian that these exist, that's an amazing resource. Same with a disability center, or community center, or an adult daycare center. Some people will want to buy a set for their family at home. That's great. But if not, and the resources there at the center, that's great too. And again, I would love any video that gives permission. We can use it because testimonials matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And always check the website or Instagram to see how people are playing with them, or the website has blog and different videos, but it shows that there, nothing has to be laid flat. These can be, played with in different ways. I've seen people get so creative, it's not even funny. I mean, they'll build a house. They use the bucket inside and out, sideways, upside down. They'll use the set of all 3 buckets and build a community center.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and even with the flowers, like the vase it does not have to be this simple, right? And no, it looks simple and it's beautiful. There's no wire in anything, by the way. But the stars are deliberate. They can go this way, right? They can use the vase as that way. The flowers can go inside of one another.
Yeah.
I've seen someone use the egg to fill people get creative and more creative and more creative, and it's just so
endless. Yeah. Angela Fairhurst, thank you so much for joining us here today at All Home Care Matters, and sharing these just brilliant ways of helping our loved ones to stay engaged and stimulated with Geri-Gadgets. We look forward to seeing the wonderful work and contributions you're going to bring to our community, and hopefully we'll keep in touch and see you again in the future.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Geri-Gadgets is dedicated to improving the quality of life and health of those suffering from dementia through the use of age-appropriate toys. Manipulating and playing with Geri-Gadgets causes sensory and cognitive stimulation, increases dexterity, hand-eye coordination, and gives the patient a sense of accomplishment, all enhancing the quality of life. Instead of sitting a patient in a hallway or in front of the television, Geri-Gadgets can occupy the patient for long periods of time, providing comfort, improving their behavior, and keeping them less agitated. Playing with a loved one using Geri-Gadgets makes the time together go easier as well. There are 3 different sets of Geri-Gadgets, all safely contained within a dishwasher-safe silicone bucket. Fidget Gadgets. The Fidget Gadget bucket consists of 5 manipulatives: the tugger, click chain, squishy egg, silicone sensory mat, and silicone TheraPad. Great for all, Fidget Gadgets provide exercise for the hands and arms as well as range of motion exercises and sensory stimulation, while at the same time relaxing the patient and even causing a meditative state. Shapes Bucket. The Shapes bucket is a puzzle designed in 10 geometric-shaped silicone pieces. They are soft, safe, and dishwasher-friendly. There is no right or wrong way to assemble the puzzle, so there's no level of frustration that comes from putting together these pieces. Flower bucket. The flower bucket comes complete with 4 tulips, 3 leaves, and a vase. This provides the patient familiarity, enhancing sensory and memory stimulation, and gives the opportunity to arrange the items. Make a difference in the lives of those suffering from dementia, and get them Geri-Gadgets.
Thank you for joining us today here at All Home Care Matters. All Home Care Matters is here to help families as they navigate these long-term care issues. We invite you to visit us at allhomecarematters.com, where there's a private, secure, fillable form where you can give us feedback, show ideas, or if you have questions. Every form is read and responded to. And remember, you can listen to the show on any of your favorite podcast streaming platforms, or watch the show on our official YouTube channel. Just make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. We'd also like to say thank you again to Miss Angela Fairhurst of Geri-Gadgets for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next time here at All Home Care Matters.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again on another episode of All Home Care Matters. To learn more about the show and to connect with us, visit us at allhomecarematters.com.